Hi, my name is Philippe Ducharme, senior producer on Dead Space. Today, I'm here to give you a first look at one of my favorite sections in the game. So we find ourselves here in the Ishimura's hangar at the beginning of Chapter 3. We're going to make our way towards the control room in engineering, where we'll attempt to restart the ship's engine. For those of you who remember the original, the hangar was much smaller than it is now. We get to explore this location and literally fly through it before heading to our destination. Navigating between chapters without load screens or having a camera cutaway is part of how we've reimagined the Ishimura for the remake. We don't need to rely on the tram as the sole way to get between chapters. It is now a seamless, interconnected ship.
Entering vacuum.
We've got two lurkers here. You can quickly get rid of them with the pulse rifle or Isaac's trusty plasma cutter. There aren't many traditional firearms on board. To survive, you may have to improvise and choose how to take each necromorph down. We're now entering the ship. We have a lot to show you, so let's skip ahead to Chapter 3. We've just received a briefing to head over to the refueling station. To get there, we're passing through the machine shop over here. If you needed to backtrack or simply wanted to explore the ship further, you may encounter a completely different experience. Different enemies, the ambience and lighting may change. This is what we call the intensity director. It keeps the Ishimura unpredictable and brings some additional tension and challenge. The way to the refueling station is just a little further ahead. As you can see, some memorable moments are authentic to the original. We've added tons of graphical enhancement that support strategic dismemberment. Using kinesis, we'll bring that gondola over and make our way to the south refueling station. We need to gain access to the fuel management office, which contains the power functions for the refueling station. We can follow that cable to find our way there. One of the things we tried to achieve was to add more context to the various objectives, to expand on what was there, and bring a bit more detail and depth where we could. The refueling station has no power. We can look for a way to access the fuel management office. This card should allow us in, and we can now make our way back.
Isaac. Hammond.
Daniels? You made it.
Thank God. After the bridge, we thought...
Glad to disappoint. I barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them, but I don't think they know I'm here. Isaac, I tracked down your rig. You're in engineering, right? I'll get myself admin privileges. Maybe I can help.
Now that we have access to this room, we're faced with a very tough choice. We could cut power to life support and rely on air canisters for oxygen, but today we'll play a section without lights instead.
Vacuum.
With the power restored, the south refueling station can now be activated.
Sufficient decontamination sequence activated. Please stand by.
In the decontamination room, using new tech, we've cranked up the tension. Dynamic smoke creates that thick and opaque atmosphere that makes you lose track of the lurkers, even when they're right next to you. It adds to the claustrophobia, the feeling of being locked in with a pack of necromorphs. Our last stop is the Centrifuge. It's offline, and the Ishimura is getting dragged down to the planet below.
Please attach generator modules manually.
We've added so much detail in here. Particle effects, lighting, floating debris. We wanted this room to be imposing and tell a story at the same time. It's a lot more impressive, and its size makes it harder to keep track of the incoming necromorphs. So audio plays a huge role here in identifying the direction of threats. With one of the generator modules back in place, we can head to the second one. Flying in zero-G and not being anchored to the surface makes spatial awareness extremely important. Combat encounters can quickly become deadly, especially with leapers. And now, with the generator modules powered up, the Centrifuge is ready to be activated.
Generator module attached. Clutch engaged. All personnel clear for Centrifuge restart.
I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek at the new Dead Space. Thank you for tuning in.
That's some fantastic lighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah. So just like we saw in the concept, it's dark. It's really hard to see what's out there, and we do that on purpose to contribute to the fear of the unknown, right? You don't know what's back there. we're doing that on purpose. But then there's just a little bit of life in there, just so that it's not completely dead scene. And then as we look above us, we see the massive engine, and it makes us feel small and insignificant, right? It's looming. So as we're looking around, we see all those effects that you saw earlier in gyms. Now you see it here, steam coming out of the pipes. There's some secondary animation with the moving pistons. It gives life, it communicates that this is an industrial thematic. And then we're always leading the player with a little bit of horror storytelling, a little bit of narrative. We have the various tools and crates.
I love the masks on sign up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite thematic.
Safety first. Dead Space is a game about safety.
Okay, so in this state, now we're in a state where it's starting to, we've powered the room, so the engine is slowly starting to rotate, a little bit of life to it. Lights, you can see the blood.
You'll have to speak up. We've booted up an engine.
Yeah, it's
Let's follow the blood trail then.
let's do that.
Oh, no.
It's always a good idea.
So here we go. This is the iconic poster that we saw earlier.
You can see the different treatments on the blood, like the one that is still wet, blood that's got dried up on the side.
More is more. More types
More,
of blood.
more.
More blood states. More blood conditions.
Yeah. And then we finally get here, and we're going to activate the engines.
Turn it on.
Let's turn it. And we look up above us, and then we can see this glorious, VFX. The engine's fully operational. It's open. It's spinning at full speed. It's like a beating heart. The room has come to life, and we have completed the transformation. And then as we look to the right, we witness the scene of a horrific bloodbath. And some bad stuff happened there.
Again, just that great teamwork between the environment artist and the story artist. Like, yes. I mean, you can really you can guess what happened there.
Mm-hmm. And then we're back into darkness as we make our way down, and then we take one last look at the engine and then the smoke-filled room. And that's it.
There's those sparks.
Yeah.
And that's it for today.
Alright, let's now listen to how these concepts applies in the context of the game.
Let's start with reminding ourselves what the original Dead Space sounded like. Looking at the headbanger corridor, you can hear as soon as the door opens, the sound is coming from the right side of the screen. The sound should realistically be traveling down the corridor to Isaac, but standing here, you can actually hear the sound coming through the wall. As we come around the corner, you will notice minimal audible changes to the sound position and obstruction. In the remake, there will be much more noticeable mix changes when standing here and the sound is not obstructed, to when I move around the corner and the sound is actually blocked. Now, let's take a look at our in-progress remake. You can hear the sound is now coming from the left, at the end of the corridor. The orange boxes you are seeing are portals we placed in the level, and the lines between them are the path the sound is traveling to get to Isaac. We lock the sound to a third of the portal from the direction it is coming from, to keep the correct directionality. We also use this same system for sound passing through to an attached room.
How I wonder what you are.
As the door closes, we start applying mix changes to the sound. When the door is fully closed, we move the sound source to the window and apply even heavier mix changes.
Traveler in the dark, thanks you for your little spark. He could not see which way to go if you did not twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. When the blazing sun is gone, when the
Since this room has no window, we are cutting the sound completely as the door closes. We have the ability to choose what sounds are let through the doors, so not every sound will be called if we do not want them to be.
Shut your eye till the sun is in the sky. Though I know not what you are.
The system also works vertically.
Star, how I wonder what you are. Up above
The way the system works is by creating a map of the areas that are reachable by the player considering the surrounding openings like doors and windows. Then, when a new sound starts playing, we can check in the map we have previously generated if the sound is audible and what is the shortest path to Isaac. We update this map at regular intervals but much less often than the sounds themselves, because it's expensive and its data does not change very often. But having this information allows us to calculate a more physically accurate position of the sound very quickly.
Hello, I am Michael Dominic, the technical audio artist on Dead Space. I will be showing you the in-progress plasma cutter and pulse rifle today. Let's get started with the plasma cutter and have a listen to what we are remaking. Now let's have a listen to where we are at with our updated version. When we are designing a weapon, we approach them in many different layers. All of the red and blue boxes outlined in this picture represent another layer that is being played on each shot of the weapon. Now let's take a listen to some of these layers one at a time, so we can really hear each element that's being played. That's all we have for the plasma cutter today, but let's take a sneak peek at comparing the original pulse rifle with our in-progress version.